I am standing here on San Cristobal Island, where Charles Darwin once stood more than 180 years ago. Here in the Galapagos archipelago, evolution has created flora and fauna resilient to the harsh conditions these volcanic islands create. Born of violent volcanic eruption 4 million years ago, San Cristobal is home to the Galapagos dry forest. The heat of the equatorial sun saps the moisture from these hot and harsh lowlands, which cover over 50% of this archipelago's oldest island. There are many plants adapted to this dry ecosystem, such as Galapagos cotton, Biscidia.
One plant adapted to these harsh conditions is the Opuntia megasperma cactus. Endemic to San Cristobal, Española, and Floriana, this cactus grows tall like a tree. Its branches spread over the landscape, creating cool, shaded environment for the various flora and fauna that live beneath it. In this case, even its own offspring benefit from the...
Excuse me. There are 2 other endemic Opuntia species found on the Galapagos. The first, Opuntia echios, found on an array of islands on the archipelago, including Baltra, Daphne, Isabella, Santa Cruz, Santa Fe, and Seymour. The second, Opuntia galapagea,
found on Pinta, Pinzan, Rabida, and Santiago. Yes, David, pardon me. The history of these species is as rich and complex as the islands within which they inhabit. Cacti are historically endemic to the New World, arising 35 million years ago and diversifying 5 million years ago during American aridization. The family Cactaceae is divided into 2 subfamilies, Opuntioideae and Cactoideae. The Opuntia genus is of course found within Opuntioideae and contains around 180 species. However, hybridization is common, and the point where one species begins and the other ends is still poorly understood.
Opuntia originated 5.6 million years ago in the southwest of South America. It then dispersed to the Peruvian Andes and finally towards the deserts of North America. These dry adapted cacti found little welcome in the neotropical rainforests. Thus, they resorted to using subhumid refugia as stepping stones towards North America, where they diversified in the arid regions, eventually migrating toward the east coast of North America and even upwards to Canada.
However, dispersal to the Galapagos is much more complex. The closest living relative to the Galapagos species is not found in Ecuador, but rather originates from the arid regions of Bolivia, Argentina, and Paraguay. How did dispersion over such vast distances occur?
Well, long-distance dispersal is still poorly understood, but Opuntia could have traveled with the help of the Humboldt Current, which caresses the west coast of South America, then travels straight towards the Galapagos Islands. Aiding this colonization is the pre-adaptation to the dry, arid conditions of the Galapagos lowland deciduous forests of this taxa, otherwise known as habitat filtering. But why do Opuntia species found in the Galapagos have such a distinct growth form, tall and tree-like, compared to those on the mainland?
Previous studies suggest the famous giant tortoise may be to blame. Their voracious appetites could have decimated the shorter varieties, leaving those up and out of reach to grow and reproduce unencumbered. Yet our research adds nuance to this story.
We chose a representative sample of species from Opuntia tribes aligned by a previous study. We then ran Beauty, Beast, Rasp, and Fig Tree to find the evolutionary history of Opuntia. The distributions of the species were then coded by geographic location. As you can see, all regions are located in the Americas, from northeastern United States to Chile, Bolivia, and Paraguay. Upon construction of the phylogenetic tree, you can see a vast evolutionary history. We chose Tunilla corrugata, Opuntia salmiane, and Carnegie gigantea as our outgroups. We found our clades to align in a monophyletic manner, except in an instance of paraphyly in the clade Nopalea. Nopalea lutea ought to be renamed Opuntia lutea to maintain monophyly. The clade Elatea includes the Galapagos species and their sister taxa Opuntia Camilo. Surprisingly, the Galapagos species are more closely related to the species from Argentina, Camilo, than the species from the Ecuadorian mainland, MacBridiae. As the Opuntia travel to North America, they begin to diversify in the open niches of the Sonoran and Chihuahuan deserts. As you can see, the clade Humifusa found refuge in eastern North America. Here we can see the progression of Opuntia colonization, starting in southern South America and spreading northward towards northeastern United States. Additionally, we coded for species heights. Upon running the phylogeny, we found that the majority of tall species are found in the Galapagos. The Galapagos sister taxa included in our phylogeny also exhibits this tall, tree-like growth form. There are few additional instances of increased height, possibly following a similar pattern of herbivorous selection pressure. And that is our phylogeny.
Yes. Yes, that's precisely right, David.
Wow. Thank you.
Oh my. What we have here is... David?
A perfect example of selection pressure.